This is like I'm making a part two. I was trying to check how long I was going. We'll wrap on up right here. Let's get this last article, and we'll wrap it on up. Slack it. This is part two of the lesson. I was trying to check how long the video is going and it ended the recording. This is part two. I don't have a title for the lesson. I may call it News and Prophecy or something along the lines. Lord's will was edifying, or it's been edifying. Let's go into this last article right here. And it reads, what we learned at Davos 2024. Global aristocracy, and we're the real aristocrats. We're the real rulership that's set to come. And that's what is happening. The Lord is stirring up controversy for Zion so he can eventually hand over the kingdom to us physically. But it's already handed over to us spiritually, because we have the words of living life. We have the rivers of living water. We have the words that lead to eternal life. That's what he told the disciples. Let's go to, I think it's Matthew 17, Luke 17, Luke 17. I think it's in Luke 17. Luke 17, he told the disciples the kingdom is Luke 17 and 20. Yeah, Luke 17 and 20. And he said to them, rise, go thy way. Thy faith had made thee whole. Thy faith had made thee whole. That's what the Lord was constantly telling people when he healed them or when he cured them. It's because of your faith. It's because of your faith. It's because of your faith. And faith is a gift. And when he demanded of the Pharisees, when the kingdom of the Most High should come, and when he was demanded of the Pharisees, when the kingdom of the Most High should come, he answered them and said, the kingdom of the Most High cometh not with observation. Neither shall they say, Lord, here, or there, or lo, there. And neither shall they say, Lord, here, or lo, there. For behold, the kingdom of the Most High is within you. And he said this to the Pharisees because there were some Pharisees who believed and some Pharisees who believed not. Not every single Pharisee, was wicked. Some of them believed. You can read about that in the book of John, the 3rd chapter. Nicodemus, who was a master in the law, who was a Pharisee who believed. Some of them believed in Yahushua, man. Some believed in the doctrine. Some of them eventually were brought into the fold after he was crucified, and Peter got on them and was breaking them and breaking it down through the Spirit. And some of them felt convicted. Some of them were like, man, we messed up, man. What do we do? And he said, repent ye in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach and be converted, man. And some of them came into the fold. This is back to the article. Just wanted to hit it while it was hot. So blacklistennews.com, the last article. We learned at Davos 2024, global aristocracy. And that's what we are. We're the real aristocrats, man. This is Sirach 10. I was going to get Sirach 10. Bear with me. Sirach 10, which is in the Apocrypha. Sirach 10 and 8. And it reads, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit. That's how you got rich. The wicked elite. You Oppenheimers, you DuPonts, you Gettys, you Wahlbergs, you Shivs, the Rockefeller family. They got rich through robbery, deceit, deception, murder, witchcraft, sorcery. And your gold is cankered, your riches are corrupted and moth-beaten, man. Your time is up, Said in this is in the book of James, the 5th chapter. Slack if I butchered it. We'll get it. Let's finish this. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Let's go to James 5. In James, he's the biological brother of our Lord Yahushua. He had two brothers in the faith, James and Judas, and he had Jambres and Simon, who weren't believers. Let me Google it to make sure I'm giving you correct information. Yeah. Yep. Yes, Simon and Joses. The Wadi Habashi Mashai. The Wadi Habashi Mashai. Call them the Habashi Mashai. I had it correct. Yeah, James and Judas, or James and Jude, who were believers, and Joses and Simon, they were non-believers. And that's scriptural, That's the Lord, he shall select two, so on and so forth. Two in the field. Bear with me. That's what he said. Yep. This is Matthew 24:40. Then shall two be in the field, and one shall be taken and the other left. Going into, you're going to have, members of households, some be selected and some be rejected. That's scriptural. Yep. Two women shall be grinding in the mill, one shall be taken and the other left. What? Left into destruction. Eventually to be reborn through the elect in the kingdom, through the loins of the elect men to survive. But, just going into Yahushai's brothers, he had two brothers who believed, and both of those brothers have epistles, books in the Bible, James and Jude, James and Judas, James and Jude, and two brothers who didn't believe. And his sister's not mentioned. And his sister is not mentioned as far as her name. Because the Lord is dealing with the men. That's the head of the nation. That's the head of the household. But there are a few women. There are going to be women that are going to be delivered as well. But the structure of the house and the building of the house is the men. That's who's going to war. That's who's on the front lines. And women have no place out there when men are street teaching or at camp. That's a battlefield. That's a spiritual battlefield. Anything can happen, especially in the times that we're coming into. And you guys who are letting these women be on the sideline in lawn chairs and, and with the head wraps on and, saying, bring it out, Khan, you're going off, man. And, some may happen in the near or distant future to where, you're going to realize that that's not it. Some carnal may happen at camp, just putting it out there. You know what I'm saying? This is Ezra the 4th chapter, because these nations, they're going to get more and more fed up, and, you fringe Israelites, fringes, you're the quickest target because you can be identified easier than the other ones. If you go into, I was talking to a brother earlier, having a spiritual conversation, and we were talking about superheroes, and, the fact that Clark Kent never told anybody he was Superman. He just did his job, had the glasses on, the 3-piece suit, the suit on, and then nobody really knew he was Superman. He was Clark Kent. Same thing with Spider-Man. He worked for I think he worked for the paper. If I'm not, he was Peter Parker. I just say it like that because I don't really, watch comics and, cartoons like that, but I remember them vaguely, but the X-Men, really, most of them lived, discreet lives in the form of they weren't letting everybody know who they were, superheroes. And that's what we are. We have superpowers in the form of this knowledge, wisdom, understanding, which comes directly from the heavens. So we're to act accordingly and to be discreet as possible because we're behind enemy lines. And technically what we're doing when it comes to the laws in the books is treason, because this message is overthrowing their government. It's actually going to lead to the overthrow of their government. Believe it. Know that. But going back into what the Lord told the Pharisees, the kingdom of heaven is within you. It's within the minds of the believers, man. Let's go to this article. So what we learned at Davos 2024, global aristocracy intends on rebuilding trust through censorship and surveillance. So the main point where it caught my attention and actually inspired me to throw up this epistle, and Lord's will, it's edifying and educational. So it was right here. So it talks about the Great Wall rebuilding trust. And rebuilding trust is basically saying they're gonna come after truth and truthers, and eventually it's gonna get carnal down the line. But they're gonna speed up the demonization campaign. So more unrighteous expect. Don't be surprised if they issue more unrighteous decrees. More demonizing of independent media, and basically get more aggressive with this thing. And they're putting it out there that they're about to. So the art wall greets Davos attendees, rebuilding trust in what? Lies, deception, witchcraft, sorcery. Our report, because Esau, he has a report too, of lies, pseudoscience, trusting in technology, artificial intelligence, the grid, the UN Agenda 2030. That's his report. Basically, that's spiritual because a movie came out a little earlier that I was talking to the brother about. We were having a spiritual conversation for about a good 40 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And I was talking to him about a movie that was on TV when I woke up this morning called Elysium. In Elysium, that eventually it's this very spiritual movie because in the movie Elysium, I think I have it pulled up. Yeah, I think I may have took it down. And yeah, it's right here. In the movie Elysium, which came out in 2013, it's a movie about a dystopian future where basically, it's you have let's see, right here. In the year 2154, it basically has all these rich people. They're living above the planet and they're in this utopia, where ultimately everything is, everything is all peaches and cream. And then you have the people who are on Earth, living in poverty and just, disgusting, nasty, conditions. And that's what the elites want to turn the Earth into. They were literally talking about space hotels and all sorts of crazy stuff the past year and a half, which will be confounded. It's not going to happen. But that's the mentality of the wicked elite. That's their mindset. None seeth me. I am and none else beside me. But the movie Elysium, has a spiritual overtone to it because I was watching it. Because we watch movies to get spiritual messages from them. Because Esau, he'll throw his plans in movies, or he'll throw stuff in movies that he wants to do, in plain sight, But in the movie, there was a woman who tried to put her child in an incubator to cure the child. And ultimately, the child wasn't detected as a citizen of Elysium because why? She needed proof of citizenship, AKA, the chip, and eventually that's what they want people to have. And that's what all this is leading up to, in the movie Elysium, but in the movie Elysium, that was very spiritual. That was one of the messages and the spiritual things that I picked up from watching it for about 45 minutes. And I haven't watched that movie in a long time. I remember watching it a long time ago when I was in the world, but I was watching it this morning. And immediately, as soon as she put her child in the incubator and it said citizenship not detected, I was like, oh, she got to have the chip, She got to have the chip. And then with that citizenship, you had to Elysium, which you had to be an aristocrat or a member of society or integrated, better yet, you can have diseases cured, you can have all sorts of benefits, and that's what they're going to present the chip as, a means of inclusion, to be a part of this Elysium that they're trying to put out there to the earth. Now, there's something I picked up from watching the movie. Now let's go into. So it says the World Economic Forum crowd rebuilding trust often meant doing a better job to silence people by filtering out what they deemed misinformation, quote unquote, and disinformation. And they also declared a war on misinformation and disinformation. And that was all around the time of the CV-19, hocus pocus. I say hocus pocus because that's what they did. They said hocus pocus, boom. There's a new hocus pocus is a boogeyman, run in the closet, hide under the bed, and be afraid of CNN and what we put out there in the fear porn in the news. And you see, everybody did it. And that was just a test run of what's to come, of what's to come that eventually leads to the microchip. And what are they putting out? Where are they also putting it out there? What are they also putting out there in front of people's faces for people to pick up if they have spiritual eyes, spiritual ears to dissect what's being said to the prophets? Well, they want to have a means of you being able to prove that you are dis-ease free via a potion that they want to put inside you, or eventually a microchip that they want to put inside you. That's what it all leads to. All roads lead to the Charagma, man. Let's get this. So it says World Economic Forum crowd rebuilding trust often meant doing a better job to silence people by filtering out what they seem disinformation, misinformation. In short, the problem isn't them, it's the people who are in the way, starting at the very top of the filter, what they call misinformation, disinformation, which is truth actually, There's the prophets, the servants of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and the men on down who teach the same doctrine, the affiliate camps, the watchmen, the warriors for Yahushai's, warriors for Yahweh Yahushai's, the Adam and Stones of Baltimore, DTA, Men of Valor, Great Millstone, and the affiliates who teach the same doctrine, the house. In short, the problem isn't them; it's the people who are in the way. In order to rebuild trust, they want independent platforms. That means Blacklisted News, Zero Hedge, RT News, People's Voice.tv. What else? And all these other independent news outlets where we get our information from. Biometric Update. A lot of the sources that brothers use, to get news that they don't put out in the general public. Truth. Well, they want truth to be whatever they say. They want to rewrite the Bible. They put that out there and make it climate friendly or rainbow people friendly. That's why you got to go, bro. You got to go, dog. And you're going to go. It's like Ezra 4:1. Now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, power of Israel. This goes into, if you read the book of Ezra and also Chronicles, there was an order given from Cyrus, who was king of Persia, to let the Israelites rebuild the temple. And then there was letters that went out, we'll go into it, that eventually stopped the building for 16 years. And then the order was given from Darius, eventually took over to, rebuild the temple, to start reconstruction all over again. Just a little bit of history. Ezra 4:1. Now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, power of Israel, which we're building in these last days, a spiritual temple, the house of the believers, through the word, the foundation, the cornerstone, Yahushai. Now when they came, it's like it, Ezra 4:2, they came to Zerubbabel. And Zerubbabel, if you go into his name, we'll go into it because it's spiritual. Zerubbabel, he was like a ruler at the time, like a magistrate, like a judge in Israel, because we couldn't have a king because somebody else was in power and in rulership. So he was the next best thing, to a king at the time. He was a leader in Israel because we were in captivity. So they came to Zerubbabel. And Zerubbabel means Zerah Babal. And it means Zerah, it's like it. Babal means confusion, because he was, the Israelites were taken out of the Babylonian captivity into the Persian Mede captivity, into the Persians and the Medes, the Babylonians, right to the Persians and the Medes. It says, scattered to Babylon. Yeah, scattered to Babylon. Zerah scattered, Babal, Babylon. Yep. A descendant of David who brought back the first colony of Jews to their own land after the Babylonian captivity. So Cyrus, okayed for us to go back into our land and rebuild the temple, which got destroyed by the Babylonians and the Edomites. Now, when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, power of Israel, then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them, let us build with you, for we seek your power as ye do. For we seek your power as ye do. Key right there, your power, because he's the power of the Israel and none else. As we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Ashardon, king of Asher, which brought us up hither. What does Zerubbabel say? Zerubbabel, and Jeshua, and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our power. And that's what we tell Vocab Malone, the Christian church, the heathen, the spiritual heathen, the people of our nation that can't get it, the physical heathen, because you have nothing to do with this. You wasn't in the gym with us. You ain't under the curses, and you ain't catching hell, and you ain't part of us. You going into captivity. You have nothing to do with us to build a house to our power, but we ourselves together will build unto the Lord Yahweh, power of Israel, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia, had commanded us. And Cyrus is prophesied 250 years before he came into power in the book of Isaiah, the 44th chapter, the last couple of verses in the book of Isaiah, the 45th chapter, because he allowed us to rebuild the temple. It even names him by name. Let's get it. Isaiah. And there's nothing new under the sun. Isaiah 45. This is Isaiah, who was around during the Assyrian captivity. He's prophesying of Cyrus, calling him by name 250 years before he stepped on the scene. The Lord's cold, man. He's powerful. Isaiah 44 and 27. Thus saith unto the deep, be dry. And thus saith. Let's start with Isaiah 44. Isaiah 44 and 24. Let's get the whole thing. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashim Ashai, power, thy Redeemer, he that formed thee from the womb. Before I formed thee in the womb, I knew thee, and were ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. I, the Lord, that's Jeremiah 1. And Jeremiah 1, verse 4 through 5, roughly paraphrasing. Jeremiah, first chapter. I am the Lord that maketh all things, that stretcheth forth the heavens alone, that spread abroad the earth by myself, that frustrateth the tokens of the liars. That's what's happening. He's frustrating the tokens of the liars. That's why this nigga's over here, pardon my Persian, that's why this nigga's over here looking like this. Hurt. Hurt. And that's Esau, Edom, in the nations. Hurt. With a capital H. U-R-T. Hurt. Finished. Mad. Same way they were during the time of the rebuilding of the temple. The same way they were at the time of the reconstruction of the temple during the Greek captivity. During the rebuilding of the temple. During the Persian Mede captivity. The same way they're hot now. Because now they get to see our faces. And now we get to, now the thing about it is now we're all united. You have Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom. You have brothers bringing it out in Spanish. You have brothers bringing it out in Tanzanian, who are Israelites who are scattered into those nations. You have brothers bringing it out in, Italy. You got a church in Italy. Brothers prophesying in Italian. You got Jake out there in the Philippines bringing it out in Tagalog. Prophesying in the name of who? Yahweh Bashim Shai. And they can't stop it. You can't stop it. You can't stop the rain. You can't stop it. It's pissing them off. They gotta do what the Lord told them they're gonna do. Get carnal. The Lord's setting a trap and a snare so he can show his power. This is Isaiah 44 and 24. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashim Ashai, thy Redeemer, and he that formed thee from the womb. I am the Lord that maketh all strength, that stretcheth forth the heavens alone, that spreadeth abroad the earth by myself, that frustrated the tokens of the liars. That's what Esau Edom is. He's the liar. He's the chief liar. Nose longer than 10 Pinocchios, man. Isaiah 44 and 26, that confirmeth the word of his servant. Isaiah 44 and 24, I'm going to calm down. Isaiah 44 and 25, that frustrate the tokens of the liars and make diviners mad. And that's what Esau Edom is. He's diviner. He's a diviner. That's what these nations are. They're diviners. That make diviners mad. That turn the wise men backward and make their knowledge foolish. Because the wisdom of this earth is foolish. Isaiah 44 and 26, that confirmeth the word of his servant and performeth the counsel of his messengers, the prophets. That's who the messengers are, the prophets, who have the words that the Heavenly Father gave them, the counsel, the report, that said to Jerusalem, thou shalt be inhabited, and to the cities of Judah you shall be built. This is talking about the reconstruction of the temple. And I will raise up the decayed places thereof. But this is also a spiritual overtone to this precept, because what are we rebuilding? We're rebuilding up the walls of Jerusalem, man. Through what? Through the word, through the foundation, the cornerstone, Yahweh Shai, man. And they can't stop it. They can't stop the rain, That's what I'm at. That's the title of the lesson. They can't stop the rain. They can't stop the rain, man. They can't stop the rain. That's the title. Isaiah 44 and 27. I was looking for a title. Isaiah 44 and 27. That saith to the deep, be dry, and I will dry up thy rivers. That saith of Cyrus, who allowed us to rebuild the temple. He is my shepherd, and he shall perform my pleasure. Even saying to Jerusalem, which is a people before it's a place, wherever Israel is scattered, that's Jerusalem. You got Israelites out there in central Mexico bringing it out. That's Jerusalem. You got the brothers out there. You got the brother out there in Mazatlan, Sinaloa, teaching Spanish. That's Jerusalem. You got brothers out there in Peru, Bolivia. You know, you got a brother out there. You got a brother out there who's from Colombia, who's out there in Brazil, bringing it out in Spanish. That's the tribe of Asher, bringing it out. That's Israel, man. Jerusalem. You got brothers out there in Italy, brothers out there in Holland, brothers out there teaching in Dutch. You know, brothers out there in the UK. You got brothers in Hawaii, brothers in Australia. You got brothers all over this planet. Because that's the power of the Lord. And the apostles didn't have to physically travel to any of those places. You know, how'd they wake up? Through the unicorn. They saw the rivers of water. You know, they saw the rivers of water. They saw the fountains. They saw the channels of water. That's said in the book of Psalms, the 18th chapter. You know, let's get it. I don't want to misquote it. Wasn't trying to make the lesson this long. Slaki, but I pray it's edifying and educational and informative and comforting. Lord's will, you know, Adon Rathaziah was. You know, Adon Rathaziah, if I get the Spirit on me a little later, I'll try to hit y'all with another one through the Spirit if I can. This is Isaiah. It's like we're just in Isaiah. Psalms 18 and 15. Then the channels of waters were seen. Then the channels of waters were seen. You know, Isaiah 30 and 20. Though the bread give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teacher be removed into a corner, but thy eyes shall see thy teachers. We're on YouTube, on the street corner, you know, in the streets. What? You know, pouring rivers of living water. That's in the Proverbs. Let's get that. Proverbs 5 and 15. Proverbs 5 and 15. And it reads, just drink waters out of thy own cistern. You know, keep thy eyes single. Be not many masters. That means there's just follow one teacher, one doctrine. You know, that's why the apostles and the elders tell us not to watch all these groups. Whoever you're following them. You know, they preferably want you to watch the 100% truth and, you know, learn from the 100% truth. But hey, if the Spirit's drawing you to watch Sakari, go watch Sakari. We tell you they're going off, we'll poke holes in their doctrine through the Spirit and show you where they're going off. But if you want to follow them, man's going to the Lord. But we encourage you to watch the men that the Lord sent. You know, GMS and the affiliate camps who teach the same doctrine. Because that's where the rivers of living water are constantly flowing from. Lessons all around the clock on all different topics. Why? Because that's the Spirit of the Lord, man. The Lord's working with those men. And the men under them. Proverbs 5 and 15. Drink waters out of thy own cistern, and running waters out of thine own well. Let thy fountains be dispersed abroad. Let thy fountains be dispersed abroad. That means everywhere. You can't stop the rain. And rivers of waters in the streets. And rivers of waters in the streets. In the streets. In the streets, man. Psalms 18 and 15. The channels of waters were seen, and the foundations of the world were discovered at thy rebuke. O Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, at the blast of thy breath of thy nostrils. Yep. He sent me from above. He took me and drew me out of many waters. Out of the proud waters, when the enemy shall come in like a flood. Also, waters is concerning peoples and nations as well. That's talked about in the book of Revelation, you know. Because you're going to have Israelites who are going to look like these other nations. And you have us who are into the practices and customs and worship of these nations. Who are drawn into what? These rivers of living water, the truth, man. Through what? Through the power of the Lord, man. Let's get Ezra. Well, in here, Ezra the 4th chapter. Now, when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto the Lord, power of Israel, they came to Zerubbabel and chief of the fathers and said to them, let us build with you as we seek your power as ye do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Ashardon, king of Asher, who brought us up hither. But Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, ye have nothing to do with us. You ain't got nothing to do with us, man. You ain't under the curses. You wasn't in the gym shooting with us, catching hell, getting red line, getting fired, getting thrown into prison houses, being, you weren't getting hanged in chattel slavery with us, getting beheaded. You weren't in any of that. You weren't there at the time when Moses sprinkled the blood on the children of Israel. You wasn't there, man. You were actually there during this time. What? Coming against us. You were here in this time, this lifetime. I'm talking about this time as far as this chapter. You wrote these letters. You were part of the nations of people writing these letters to Artaxerxes saying, no, nah, man, don't let them do that. Stop them building the temple. They're not going to pay tribute. They're rebellious, lying on us. Same thing that's going to happen in these days, in this time right here. Nothing new under the sun. It's like for the noise in the background. I got Issachar and Zebulun where I'm at. Our people. This is Ezra 4. Ezra 4 and 3. And it reads, but Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the fathers of Israel said unto them, ye have nothing to do to build an house unto our power, but we ourselves will build unto the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Ashah, power of Israel, as King Cyrus, king of Persia, had commanded us. And we just read in Isaiah, the 44th chapter, the Lord prophesied of Cyrus coming on the scene 250 years through Isaiah before Cyrus even came out of his mother's womb. That's the power of the Lord. And named him by name. Man, how about that? Ezra 4 and 4. Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building. And that's what this is all about right here. WHO chief warned independent media spread so much truth it's hurting the New World Order agenda. That came out the 29th. WHO demands surveillance powers to monitor every man, woman, and child for dis-ease control under the guise of misinformation and disinformation. That's what this is all about right here. We learned at Davos 2024, global aristocracy intends on rebuilding trust through censorship and surveillance. What? To censor what? Misinformation and disinformation. Quote unquote, according to them, which is truth. Now, the same thing was happening during the rebuilding of the temple in the Persian Mede captivity, when the order was given from Cyrus, and eventually construction was stopped for 16 years, and the order was re-given under Darius to continue with the rebuilding of the temple, the building of the temple. What happened? These nations got mad. They got mad, then they sent the letters of hate, saying, don't do it, don't let them do it. Same thing's going to happen in these times, Same nations of people. Ezra 4 and 4. Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building, and hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose. All the days of Cyrus, king of Persia, even to the reign of Darius, king of Persia, because construction stopped for 16 years because these nations were hating. They were mad. They was like, nah, man. In the reign of King Ahasuerus, in the beginning of his reign, wrote unto them an accusation against the inhabitants of Judah and Jerusalem. What accusation? In the days of Artaxerxes, I think it's Xerxes the First or Xerxes the Great, something along those lines. Xerxes. Let's get it in the blue letter because I got it right here. Let's make sure we got accurate information coming out. We want to feed the sheep accurate information. This is Ezra 4. He's also known as Artaxerxes, or Xerxes the First, I believe, or Xerxes the Great. Artaxerxes, also known as who? Yep, Xerxes. Yeah, doesn't say, but I have it in my notes in my other notebook. The kings of the Persian Mede Empire. Let me make sure. I want to make sure it's accurate. Bear with me. Yeah, Xerxes, Artaxerxes the First, 485 to 465 BC. Xerxes, Artaxerxes the First. So I'm not sure if this is Artaxerxes the First or the Second, but I believe it's Artaxerxes the First because he was on the scene before Darius. He was on the scene around the same time as Darius. 485. Yeah. I'll just keep it simple. Xerxes. Not be too deep. Be one deep. But I had it in my notes, so Salaki. Bear with me. Let's go back. So, bear with me. This is Ezra the 4th chapter. Ezra the fourth chapter, who's also known as Esdras in the Apocrypha. This is Ezra 4 and 5, and it reads, "And hired counselors to frustrate their purpose all the days of Cyrus king of Persia, even to the reign of Darius king of Persia. And in the reign of Ahasuerus, in the beginning of his reign, they wrote unto him an accusation against the inhabitants of Judah and Jerusalem." What they write to Ahasuerus? What they write to him? They wrote, in the days of Artaxerxes, wrote Bishalam, Meredith, Tabiel, who else? And the rest of the companions unto Artaxerxes, king of Persia. And the writing of the letter was written in the Syrian tongue and interpreted in the Syrian tongue. Rehum, the counselor of Shimashai, the scribe, wrote a letter against Jerusalem to Artaxerxes, to Artaxerxes, the king, in this sort. They wrote Rehum, the chancellor, and Shemashi, the scribe, and the rest of their companions, the Deonites, the Apharshathites, the Tarpelites, the Pharsites, the Archavites, the Babylonians, the Susakanites, the Susakites, the Susankites, the Dehavites, and the Elamites, heathen, and the rest of the nations whom the great and noble Ashnapar brought over and set in the cities of Samaria, northern Israel, and the rest that are on this side of the river, and such at a time. This is the copy of the letter sent unto him, even to Artaxerxes the king, thy servants and the men on this side of the river, at such a time. Be it known unto the king that the Jews which came up from thee to us are come to Jerusalem, rebuilding the rebellious and the bad city. Talking shit, slandering, saying, don't let them do it, man. Be it known unto the king that the Jews which came up from thee, we were first called Jews by the Babylonians, Judah being the head tribe. That's what they call us, Jews. Be it known unto the king that the Jews which came up from thee to us are come into Jerusalem to rebuilding, it's like a building, the rebellious and the bad city, and set up walls thereof and join the foundations, which is happening spiritually. Same nation of people. They wrote letters. They didn't have the internet, saying, don't let them do it. Well, what happened? Be it known unto you, the king, that if this city be builded and the wall set up again, then they will not pay toll, tribute, and custom, and thou shalt damage the revenue of the kings. Yep. Now, because we have maintenance from the king's palace, and it was not meet for us to see the king's dishonor, therefore we have sent and certified the king. Yeah. That the search may be made in the book of the records of thy fathers, that thou shalt find in the book of the records, and know that this city is a rebellious city, and hurtful unto kings and provinces, and they have moved sedition within the same of old time, for which cause was this city destroyed. So they were saying the same thing that they're saying now, and they were acting the same way as Claudius did when he expelled the Jews out from Rome, man. Why? Because of progressive street preaching, because the truth is being brought out. Nothing new under the sun. Yep. That's pretty much it. So, these nations are hurt. The dreadful sound is in their ear. But once again, you can't stop the rain. So with that, I'm going to close on out. Lord's will you found this lesson edifying, part 1 and part 2. And in closing, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and infinite glory unto the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakha Kodash. Double honors unto the head apostles of Great Millstone, who do rule well and teach well. Shalom unto the elders and the elder bishops, a great millstone as well. Shalom, shalom. Peace, love, salutations, and blessings unto the hopeful elect, and a hearty shalom to the sincere brethren, laboring across the four winds of the earth, giving diligence to make their calling and election sure. Shalom, shalom. So, Lords, where you found this lesson edifying, educational, informative, and comforting, once again, the truth is going out. The great accusation is being built up. But once again, they can't stop the rain. They can't stop the rain. They can't stop the rain. And the Lord, Yahweh Shai, is going to come, and he's going to take you out of power and authority. And we're going to tell you about the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai until you take down this internet, or until the Lord, remove us in the corners, man. Or to the orders given from the elders and apostles, so on and so forth, or something along those lines. So with that, we'll close on out. And in closing, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Shai. Shalom. Until next time, Abba Ba.